The Grinch, Katt Williams, and podcasts. So these three things may seem like they have nothing in common, but I promise you I'm going to tie them all together if you just stay with me for a few minutes. So Katt Williams early last year did a great interview where he said so many people were going to be revealed last year. And we did see so many people revealed. But those revelations are still continuing into this year. And I think that when we watch podcasts, when we look at the manosphere, we see people reveal themselves. They reveal their ego, they reveal their secrets, they reveal their patterns, their habits, their mindset. And sometimes women, especially, get to hear the way that some men think and the way that some men rationalize their behavior. And recently I've talked about the Clifton Powell interview. I've talked about Mike Epps. I've talked about um, different men who got on podcasts and they said, you know what? I'm 69. I just learned how to love. I'm 50. I just learned how to love. Yes, I was cheating all this time, but today I'm monogamous. And when they give these announcements, you can see from their absolute and utter shock that when someone says, hey, you just blamed your parents, your grandparents, slavery, food stamps, child support, everything under the sun for your choices, and that is not good enough. You cannot blame these things because everyone in the world has experienced different things that could have led them to make bad choices, and some people chose to make good choices in spite of that. They had the same temptations, the same neighborhood, the same poverty, the same obstacles, the same racism, but they chose to exhibit discipline. They chose to be concerned about other people. They chose to not go with entitlement and selfishness and destructive behavior and ignore people saying, hey, you're hurting me. Hey, you're hurting our relationship. Hey, we're going to get divorced over this. They chose to listen. They chose to change. And it didn't take them 50 years. It didn't take them 69 years to change. So you don't get to get accolades and pats on the back and put all this attention on you and think that now you are the expert in the room, you are the guru in the room, and everybody should listen to your wisdom when you just barely started the first step of accountability, which is admitting that you were wrong. That's just the first step. You haven't made amends. You haven't really put yourself in the shoes of the people you hurt and showed any empathy, sympathy, compassion for them. You haven't taken it in. And so now I want to bring up the Grinch. The Grinch, I love. I love the songs. I love the TV show. I love the movie. I even love the actor, at Universal Studios who plays the Grinch so well. But the Grinch is not a hero because his initial actions are rooted in selfishness, in malice. He wants to hurt people, in theft, and in cruelty. He's specifically targeting a community's joy and the children in that community and exploiting his loyal dog. Now, while he finds redemption, his attempt to ruin Christmas through deceit and emotional pain makes him a villain, not a hero, despite his later transformation. So the Grinch is motivated by a deep hatred of happiness and the holiday season. So he sets out to destroy it. But then when the Who's are not fazed by it, when he doesn't get the reaction that he expected to get, when instead they react with joy and love and unity and they still celebrate anyway, he realizes something and he turns around and brings the presents back. But he's still a villain. But he did take accountability in terms of he realized he was wrong and he made amends, which is a lot more than a lot of people do because a lot of people just admit they were wrong. They never make amends. Their heart never really changes. They still expect when they apologize for it to be swept under the rug, for them to be the center of attention, for nobody to ever bring it up again. You'll hear men sometimes, especially on these podcasts, I can't believe my wife is still bringing this up. It's been 3 months. and you cheated for 10 years, 20 years, the whole marriage. But she's not supposed to bring it up because it's been 3 months. She still isn't really, open to me, and I don't get access to her like I want to. You should be happy that she's even there, not complaining about not having access to her, not complaining about how she's not serving you. So the entitlement to service, to having your ego stroked, to being forgiven and it being swept under the rug is toxic. And the idea, there's an idea. When I was growing up, there was the Bionic Man. And it started off the TV show with the idea that he was injured, but they had put some cybernetic parts in his body, and now he was bigger, stronger, faster. And now he could do more than the average human man. And it's like some of these men who make these confessions, they somehow think that rather than it diminishing them, rather than it showing their fallacies and their selfishness and their weaknesses and their ego and their entitlement, that somehow these admissions make them bionic, that they're now bigger, stronger, faster, and everybody's supposed to ooh and ah over, oh, well, he did admit he was wrong. Oh, well, he did say he was going to change. Oh, well, he said he was going to be monogamous today. But the thing is, you're still a villain. You're still a villain. You're not a hero because you admitted you were wrong. And you haven't even done what the Grinch did and make any kind of amends. Saying you're sorry is not making amends. You should be willing to do whatever that person says for as long as they say to make amends, because you're the one that broke the trust. You're the one who betrayed. You're the one who was selfish and entitled and inconsiderate. You're the villain. You're not the hero because you confessed. Confessing does not make you heroic. And so, in our society, I think that we need to get away from this idea that villains and heroes are the same thing. That a villain can become a hero just by saying, oh, my bad. No, villains are villains. Can some villains change? Yes. But do they change by making one statement? No, they don't. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this issue. And please check out my podcast, Zenergy, Zennurgy. It's on 25 different streaming platforms. I am Zenashe, Zenase. Please check out my books on Amazon. I have 5 books. I have 2 poetry prose memoirs on my personal healing journey, a children's book, a guided journal, and an undated planner. And I'd love for you to like, share, sponsor, and subscribe.